In this video, we will be completing programming exercise 2.2, computing the volume of a cylinder. Write a program that reads in the radius and length of a cylinder and computes the area and volume using the following formulas. Area equals radius times pi. Volume equals area times length. All right, so let's get started. First thing we'll do is create our class. So File, New, Class. We're going to call this class PE02_02. We're going to put it in the default package. So we're going to take this away. And we're ready to go. Finish. And there's our class. Okay, we're going to start off by inserting our comments. Remember, for every program, you need to have your name, your W number, your class and section, and the date. Okay, finally, we'll have a description of the functionality of the program. And so we'll say this program reads in the radius and length of a cylinder and computes the area and volume. And we're going to be using the following formulas. I'm going to use area equal to radius times pi. And we're going to use volume is equal to area times length. Okay, we're going to further comment this closing brace and call that end PE0202, 02_02 rather. And let's go ahead and insert the main method. All right, and so now that we have our program set up, we know that we want to read in from the user both the radius and the length. And so in order to read in information from the user, we know we're going to have to use a scanner. So in order to use our scanner, the first thing we know that we're going to have to do is import the scanner class. And in order to do that, we use our import statement. Important to note that the import statement goes outside of our class definition. So outside, just above where we say public static or public class PE0202, right above that, we're going to put that import statement. And we're going to import java.util.scanner. Remember, this is explicit import. And then within this main method declaration, or the main method itself, rather, the body of the main method, we are going to have to create our scanner or instantiate our scanner object. And remember, we said that to do that, we first say scanner. That's essentially the data type. And then we have to give it a name. We can name it whatever we want. So usually the book you'll see will name the scanner input. I'm going to name my scanner Hastings. cannot. And then we complete this creation of our scanner with equals the keyword new, and then scanner, open paren system in, system.in. So now we have created a scanner. The name of that scanner is Hastings, and Hastings is just waiting for us to give him some jobs to do. So let's think about the algorithm that we're going to use. We're going to need to prompt the user to enter the radius and the length of the cylinder. Mistypes. And then once we have prompted the user to enter the information, we need to read it in. So read in. Now that we have the information, the next thing we're going to want to do is actually do the computations. So we're going to compute the area. And we're also going to compute the volume of the cylinder. And then once we've actually done the computations, we need to let the user know what the results were. So we're going to display the results. And then finally, before we end our main method, we're going to go ahead and release the resources. So we're going to close the scanner. Okay, remember we said that there were 5 components when we use a scanner. We import the scanner class, we create a scanner, we prompt the user, we read in the information from the user, and we close the scanner. And indeed, all of those are here. And note the placement of each of those statements. So now that we have our algorithm in place, let's go ahead and start coding this out. All right, so if we want to prompt the user to enter the radius and the length of the cylinder, then we'll need to use our print statement, either a print or a print line. So let's use system.out.print. And we're going to ask the user, enter the radius and length of a cylinder. We're going to do that in between those quotation marks. Remember, everything that appears in between those double quotation marks will be printed out to the screen exactly as it is typed in. So we've prompted our user, and now we're ready to read those in. And so we're going to have to declare some variables to hold that information when we read in input from the user. Generally, we're going to want to have a place to hold that information, right? And that's going to be a variable in our case. And so we're going to have a double. So, hey, computer, give me some memory enough to hold a double value. And I'm going to call that memory location radius. And then inside that memory location, so this is our assignment statement. What am I going to assign, or what am I going to place inside that memory location that I call radius? Well, Hastings is going to have to go to work for me. So I call Hastings. Hey, Hastings, so do a job for me. And the job that I need you to do is I need you to get the next double. So this will call Hastings to go get the next double from the user, and that information will be stored in a variable called radius, which is of type double. Likewise, I'm going to declare another variable of type double. I'm going to call this variable length. And inside of length, I'm going to store another piece of information that I'm going to get from the user. So I need Hastings to do some more work. So Hastings, go and get me another double. So I call Hastings dot next double. That tells Hastings to go to the user and get a piece of information, and that piece of information is a double. That piece of information that Hastings gets from the user, he stores in this variable called length, or this memory location called length. And now that I have all of the information that I need, I'm ready to do my computations. And so I'm going to do that using the formulas as described. I'm going to store the value that I compute in two variables. One will be called area and one will be called double. And I'm going to go ahead and allocate space. So I say double. It says, hey, computer, give me some space. And enough to hold a double. That's going to be the type of information that I put there. And I'm going to call that area, that space in memory area. And inside of that memory location called area, this is what I want you to put. Do the following computation. Radius times radius times, and for pi, I'm going to hard code 3.14159 for my value of pi. So the computer is going to do that computation. It's going to store it in a variable called area. Area is of type double. Okay, next I'm going to compute the volume. And so I'm going to say, hey, computer, give me some space, and call that space volume. Inside that space, I want you to do the following computation and store the result. Area times length. So the computer will look at the memory location called area, get that piece of information, look at the memory location we called length, get that information, multiply the two together, take that result and store it in the memory location that we have called volume. And now that I'm done, I need to display my results to the user. So whenever I want to display results or generate output, I need to use a print statement or a print line statement. And so I'm going to use the print line statement. And I'm going to report to the user the area is, and I'm going to have a space after is, and then I'm actually going to just report whatever value is found in that variable called area. Now, I can't put that in these quotation marks because if I do, it's just going to print the word area. So what I need to do is reference the variable that says, hey, computer, go to this memory location, or remember, sometimes we call them a mailbox, if you will. Go to that mailbox that I called area. Whatever you find in there, go ahead and print that out. And so when I want to do that, I need to use the concatenation sign. So what this is going to tell the computer is to print out exactly what you see in between the quotation marks. And then next to that, that's the concatenation sign, concatenate that with whatever you find in the memory location or in the mailbox that we called area. And then likewise, we're going to print out the volume. And we're going to say the volume of the cylinder is. Space, and then we're going to concatenate that with whatever the computer goes to volume and finds there. And that's how we'll display the results. And then finally, the only thing left to do is close our scanner. We're done with Hastings. He doesn't have any more work to do. So we're going to release the resources, send him home. So Hastings.close. And that's it. That will release the resources. So let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. See if we made any mistakes. We notice there's no syntax errors. Remember, we said there were 3 kinds of errors that could occur: syntax, runtime, and logical. So Eclipse is very helpful for us. If we have any syntax errors, remember, it gives us those little red X's on the left-hand margin. We have no syntax errors. So now let's run it. Maybe let's see if we have any runtime errors. So enter the radius and length of a cylinder. We'll enter two values for that, and we will see the area is, and it does that computation, and the volume of the cylinder is, and it does those computations. All right, and there we have it, a program that computes the area and length of a cylinder given the user input of radius and length. Or I'm sorry, it computes the area and volume of a cylinder given the user input's radius and length.